In the first trimester, a first-time pregnant lady would experience so many changes in her body that can give an emotional turmoil kind of a thing to a mother, because she's going to lose her youth. There are skin changes, there are hair changes, the breasts start growing, the nipple size increases, then there are nausea, vomiting sensation. The private part seems odd so to certain female in the first 3 months of pregnancy. So the first 3 months are very tricky. It need to be handled very carefully. So home remedies like taking a ginger candy, keeping yourself well hydrated, avoiding staying empty stomach for a long time, avoid having too much of oils and spicy food. Then starting your day slowly. Do not rush to your work and start your day in a hurry. Okay, hydration is very important. And to avoid nausea and vomiting, certain hormones do play a role in giving you nausea and vomiting, but that can be avoided with simple lifestyle changes, like starting your day slow, eating something dry in the morning, not to rush to the bathroom and start brushing your teeth the first thing in the morning. If you take something dry in the morning and keep your mouth dry, you don't salivate in the morning, then the nausea vomiting comes down as the day passes. You can experience increased frequency of peeing in the first 3 months, because the uterus itself is a pelvic organ, and in the first 3 months it's growing and pushing onto your urinary bladder. So you might experience peeing again and again in the first trimester. That also is a symptom of pregnancy. That's not a disease pathology. But if you have burning sensation, if you're peeing every minute and it's like an urge and it's burning a lot, then you need to see your doctor. Constipation can be seen in certain patients if you are not hydrated well. So a balanced diet, if sufficient amount of water intake in your day-to-day routine activity is very much required to avoid constipation in pregnancy as well.
Kasira shime chalang danga pe kimdo ko thongon do denzo langon ne khora nga pugu sumjalo la chitang digi kalor shime lang inde chejuda nga sumjalo ro chikpa chikyan chitang ta buredo pupo mo ina yang loga ro liri le da nga sumja buredo chikpa chikyan le so pe tawa ni ta chega sete ta amma khala sa thomendo zonda ande chima가 탑장구랑 chima가랑아 쪼멜랑기도 고조자니 주민도 녜녜 딘조 창만 나나바다 녜녜 야 라닝 주민도 아니 룽랑기더라 룽베만 볼랑기 디당아 부고 숨자로 찍바 찍장 치스 다 가시 아마 가시 텐데 심해 찔랑입니다 기와빼라 삼기더랑한 깨기 기숙 디당아 군주숨 할래나 망쇼랑네 추대 니시 잡시 냥그 얘기를 했습니다. 다 대시면 되는데 군쳐선 다와 저가 민도 삼야죠. 알아 안데 처할래니에.
ngara rojina ta thanda inde mixi gi nga inde nyang ma so kangi ro ilana la ngara hapta ni sto ji ta nga shimi gya to inde yo nang la inde na chini shinang zo ne ji gora inde o inde hapta ni sto ji chaso ane odi gi bi khajina na ngara ne khadi nga pamal le ra ngara ama dang pala le du gora nga ne o dru ba inde di mo na la yam mo go dru king gi su pu thuk mo go thi gi na ya lapta lo yu inde le lo yu wala inde inde do ji cha re sam gu do ngara ra jin ji ta ni shima mixi gi nga la trimester thangbo kangi chungwa so.
By your dates, you are at 13 weeks and 3 days. And by the growth, the baby has grown very nicely, has covered up the growth. The first scan that is done by 6 to 7 weeks is usually to check the dating. We call it as a dating scan, and to know if the heartbeat is good or not. Whether the uterus has the baby or the baby is at some wrong position. By wrong position, I mean sometimes the pregnancy is in the tubes. So by 5 to 6 weeks, we usually detect that. When it is not dangerous, it does not cause any health issues or dangerous emergency issues to the mother. So the first scan is very important to know the heartbeat and to know the position of the baby inside the uterus. Sometimes there are people, unfortunate ladies, who have recurrent abortions. Very recurrent abortions, that the fetus was there and after that spontaneously the bleeding happened. So sometimes the uterus opens up. So we need to check how much is the cervical length, if internally the opening is closed, So ultrasound helps also in knowing whether they need to put some extra stitches also, so that the baby stays inside. Dating scan also is very important, because depending on the menstrual cycle of that particular pregnant lady, we need to know what is the age of the baby. So the gynecologist, they usually calculate the gestation, calculate the baby's age by the last period state. That is why we all ask every lady, what is your last period state? Now another point on this line also is, the last period state is the date when the periods came, not when it finished. So the last period state is the first day of your menstrual cycle. That is when you conceive. It has nothing to do with the ovulation, because that also can vary. So all the calculations will be done according to the last menstrual date, but depending on X person versus Y person, the age of the baby, the fetus, can be different. So that is why ultrasound helps to know the exact age of the baby, as to how many weeks they are, and that is the very important significance of the first scan.
In the first trimester, the doctor will ask you to take some supplements, which basically includes the folic acid supplements which you were already taking in the preconceptional phase. That's important because folic acid protects a baby to have neural tube defects. In the first trimester, the patient need to avoid certain things like unwanted medicines should not be taken, because everything which is taken in the first 3 months of pregnancy is going to affect the organogenesis of the coming baby. So unnecessary medicines, unnecessary radiation exposure, unnecessary exertion should be avoided in the first 3 months. You should have a first visit in the first trimester where the doctor will recommend you certain supplements, certain tests, which are universal tests. We need to know the blood group of the patient so that we can identify high risk category Rh negative pregnancy in the very first month. Then we need to know the health status of the mother by doing a hemogram. We need to check the viral markers. Viral markers include an HIV testing. That's a universal testing which is done after taking consent from the patient. Hepatitis B testing, hepatitis C testing, and syphilis test in India, where we are going to screen the patient and pick up high-risk pregnancy in the very first trimester. We need to screen the patient for thyroid, any diabetes in the first trimester. If there is any family history for other disorder, that also can be picked up in the first trimester. So people saying that you should go to the hospital once you are 3 months pregnant should not be the concept. It should be as soon as you get pregnant. Once you get a positive pregnancy test, you should visit your doctor to screen for these diseases and to get that information which should not be done and what should be done in the first 3 months.
The very important scan is at 12 weeks. Now this is the time from 11 to 13 weeks. So I use the word 12 weeks. From 11 to 13 weeks, that is the time we measure certain things that need to be evaluated and correlated with the blood tests. Now the blood test is the dual marker test, which has importance at this particular time. Now we measure the size of some important nasal bone, nuchal thickness, then tricuspid regurgitation. So these are the things which we can early detect the chromosomal anomalies. So then these 2 particular weeks are important when the ultrasound is correlated with the blood test. Sometimes the blood tests are taken after few days of the ultrasound. So that is also not supposed to be done, because we take measurements as per the blood test. So these 2 things have to be correlated soon, so as to rule the chromosomal anomalies at the early time.
For a pregnant patient, the second trimester is like it's a break in between, so she can enjoy, she will have those cravings, but she should not fall for this craving and start eating junk and all. She should have a balanced diet. Second trimester is easygoing in the sense the symptoms of first trimester, the nausea, vomiting, the mood swings, the irritability is gone. Now you feel good factor in yourself. So she feels like eating more, she feels like craving for things, she feels the uterus is not that big, so her physical limitations are not that problematic. So the second trimester is very easygoing, but you need to be regular with your supplements, because second trimester is the time when the baby starts growing in number of cells has already been grown in the first trimester. Now the cells itself start growing, so they need nutrition. So you need to have your iron supplements, calcium supplements properly in the second trimester. And you need to get yourself screened for diabetes. You need to get screened for hypertension. You need to get vaccination from tetanus in the second trimester. So it's very important to have a doctor visit in the second trimester. One thing that is most significant in the second trimester is your Tibettv scan, the level 2 scan, which is done at around 5th month. That is around 18 to 22 weeks of pregnancy, where the baby is screened from head to toe through an ultrasound.
In level 2 scan, we measure each and every body part. Like we have humerus, radius. So we measure all the bones, A to Z bones of the body, and then we correlate whether, as per the gestation, how much the growth of that particular bone should be. Is it matching or is it not matching? Number one, sometimes the limb shortening happens, sometimes the femur are short. So these are another evidences by which we can check the chromosomal anomalies. Our main aim is not to miss onto any abnormal fetus. Abnormal fetus, I mean to say the structural anomalies. This ultrasound will not be helping in knowing the autism and all the other things which are not the structural anomalies. This is the mandatory scan at 18 to 20 weeks. After that, the pregnancy is considered to be a normal human, then only the weight gain comes in part. Then till 20 weeks, everything is formed. It's a human body.
Double marker, quadruple marker, penta marker, these are very important to get done. Ideally, every patient, every pregnant patient should be offered to get these tests done. It's an opt-out testing, it's not mandatory, because it depends on the mother. If she wants to carry a Down syndrome baby, it's her wish. We cannot say that you cannot, because nowadays even the Supreme Court says that Down syndrome is not a disease. These are special kids. So getting a risk of Down syndrome does not indicate you need to terminate a pregnancy. It's a mother wish whether she wants to carry this pregnancy forward or not. But definitely these tests give that mother that option of choosing the fittest baby.
Legally in India, till 20 weeks the Supreme Court has given the jurisdiction, but now I think it has increased to 24 weeks, but considering the other conditions aspects also. But till that time, legally, if there is some structural anomaly in the baby, in the fetus, then the Supreme Court has given the right for the termination of the pregnancy also.